Colonialism, a cake that West Europe began to sink their teeth into more and more in the 1600s. England, France, Spain, Portugal, and the Netherlands, all trying a piece. But what about Scotland? They too tried their hand at colonization, but it had more negative effects on the country than positive. The Scottish had some successes with small settlements in regions of Canada and the US. They even tried to head down further south to a tiny bit of land in Central America to claim as their own, but this didn't go too well. This attempt went by the name, the Darien Scheme, and is known for its catastrophic failure. But what happened to the colony that made it go so wrong? So, a bit of backstory first. During the 17th century, Scotland had slowly become outcast by its southern neighbour England, mainly with its international trade, which made Scotland not only economically dependent on England, but also made Scotland poorer and isolated. A few decades later in 1695, a man, William Paterson, had proposed an idea to the Scottish Parliament, the idea of creating a trading company similar to the English's trade companies, but Scottish.
Hey fellow Scottish fellows, boy, you seem to have it a bit rough with the English and all that trade malarkey, but don't worry, I have an idea for you guys, and it's all in this book that I'm totally not gonna read the whole thing to you. Ahem, chapter 1.
Can you just tell us the important parts?
Oh, right, so basically, if you want to break the English's trading shackles around your ankles, you should create your own trade company, and set trade up in the New World to make a gateway for trade in the Far East.
I don't know, don't the Spanish own that?
Well, yeah. But trust me, it'll help get Scotland lots of money.
Money? Well, why didn't you tell us that first?
So William's idea had spread around the Scottish Parliament like wildfire, and got approved just 2 weeks after. Old legislators didn't dick around with laws like today, and the Company of Scotland trading to Africa and the Indies was born. It was allowed to trade in India, Africa, and the Americas, was free from taxation from the first 21 years, and much more. The Company of Scotland didn't start off too strong in the early years, due to a schism between the desired intentions of where they should trade. Some had wanted to make the company a rival to England's East India Company, by trading in the same regions of India and Africa as them, while the rest were more intrigued in pursuing Paterson's idea of settling at the Gulf of Darien. The English East India Company was, to say the least, not very happy about this ordeal, forcing investors of the trading company to pull out, leaving the company with no source of finance, and even went as far as to threaten to sue the company. Their money troubles had improved significantly soon after. They were able to raise £400,000 in a few weeks, with investors from all walks of life, poor and rich, donating to the company to get it heading in the right direction. The plans to trade in India and Africa were ditched, in favor of the Darien Scheme. In 1696, the first expedition to the company's destination went underway, with 1,200 colonists on their way to new lands. Once they got to the Darien Gulf, they would begin to negotiate with the natives into buying their lands, and send the news of the successful landing back to Scotland. This would take around 4 months to reach Scotland, and during that time, they already sent out a second expedition. Now this is the part where it begins to go downhill. The agriculture was difficult for the colonists, due to a lack in supplies. With the summer months rolling in, the colonists were dying from malaria and starvation, and when you thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. Their main goal of setting up trade in the area saw no success with the locals and passing ships, as the Scots brought along with them a wide variety of terrible choices of goods, that being wigs, shoes, and many other things that you should not bring to the trading table. With the population of the colony rapidly decreasing from disease and starvation, and orders of King William advising the American colonies to not assist them in fear of aggravating the Spanish in the area, the settlement had soon been abandoned 8 months after they first got there. It wasn't all bad though. The colonists would receive gifts of fruit by the locals, and even found their luck in hunting giant turtles. The second expedition group I mentioned earlier, would come to face the reality of what happened to the colony when they arrived. Overgrown graves, burned down ships, and their hopes of an already thriving colony long gone. Now they had to rebuild this derelict settlement. It wouldn't take long before the Spanish became aware of the fiasco going on, and blockaded the settlers from fleeing, getting ready to assault. Still without any assistance from the English, they were on their own. The Spanish, however, became aware of the situation the Scots were in, offered light terms if they surrendered, which they accepted, and the last survivors headed back to Scotland, but many still died on the way back from disease and starvation, so there isn't a happy ending. And that concludes the Darien Scheme, an attempt at greatness, flawed with a lack of proper knowledge on how to colonize, equipment, and just everything else that went wrong for them. Anyway, that's all, see y'all soon, and thanks for watching.